Quick question, do some of the Christian doctrines make you feel a little uncomfortable? If that's you, give me a few moments to run a few quick thoughts by you. Now let me start by making a very clear and important statement. God's way is not and will not be entirely compatible with everything that you think makes sense. I repeat, God's way, his definition of good and evil, and ultimately the way that he calls us to live, is not and will not ever be entirely compatible with everything that you think makes sense. Here's why I say that. By believing in the existence of a creator or a God, one of the things that we're acknowledging is that there's a being that exists outside of ourselves who is supreme in comparison to us. For example, as valuable as the latest iPhone may be, and as much money as it may cost, that iPhone is made by Apple. It didn't make itself. So you don't look to the iPhone or even the iPhone user as a reliable source to tell you how to best use it, maintain it, and get the maximum value possible out of it. If you want that information, you go back to Apple. Why? Because they made it and will therefore be positioned in the best place to guide you on getting the most out of their invention. Stick with me a little longer. So get this. We all know that iPhones need to be charged regularly in order to keep them working and functional. If they're not charged, the battery will run out and the phone will become essentially useless. And it comes down to how they were made. It's part of Apple's general guidelines on how to get the most out of the device. But what if the idea of having to charge the iPhone was an offense to you for some reason? What if you disagreed with Apple's guidelines? Well, firstly, you're absolutely free to disagree, but that doesn't make you right. Apple made the device, not you. Apple have tested the device, not you. Apple has an awareness of what it takes to get the most out of the money you've spent on that device, not you. So whilst you are free to disagree and maybe even stop charging the iPhone, it'll only be you who will suffer the consequences. Because when that last charge runs out and the phone stops powering on, it will become an incredible waste of money. So catch the parallel, as imperfect as it is. God is like Apple, and our lives are like the iPhone. We might disagree with his ways on how we ought to live, things we ought to stand on, and ultimately his definition of what is good versus evil, right versus wrong, but that doesn't change a thing. And what's more important is that just like Adam and Eve, just like that iPhone, just like me and every other human on the earth, if we disagree with God's ways and then choose to follow our own ways of thinking, it will be us who will suffer the consequences. Because he is the creator, not us. So rather than resisting and campaigning against following his ways, we do so much better to surrender and fall. Learn from our creator and get aligned to live life to the fullest. Life as we were designed to live. Do some of the Christian doctrines make you feel a little uncomfortable? Peace.